Next week I want to start in, well, maybe just a couple more minutes. Let's work through this one more here. If you're comfortable with this, I'll read one more sentence, and then I want you to answer that, and we'll just get a little bit of a feel for this, and then we'll continue on next week. So I'll say, did you receive the message as a child that children were seen and not heard? Did you feel inferior in communicating and expressing your feelings?
Okay, my answer was yes. This message hasn't changed into my adulthood, unfortunately. I'm spending most of my spare time healing parts of my life that no longer serve me. I just finished a book entitled Emotionally Abused Women, Overcoming Destructive Patterns and Reclaiming Yourself. And I am currently reading, and I'm almost finished with it, Verbally Abusive Relationships. Both of these books show me the reasons behind the behavior of abusive people and how some of us turn into codependent victims or enablers. This information is helping me understand the dynamics I have been part of for my entire life, how to step away, grow my self-worth, and learn appropriate responses for the future.
Okay. All right. You've got a lot of good messages to bring forward. Let me just tune in for a minute and see what information I can get for you on what you just read to me. Okay. You know, it keeps going back to what we were just talking about, how people never really work on, when people really don't work on what's bothering them and don't feel their emotions, or they'll feel something uncomfortable that maybe growing up were made to feel wrong on some level, and instead of healing that, it's like they're trying to cover it up and project it onto another person. It's just like the kind of people I was just talking about. They're really intimidating, bullying energy. It's like a smoke and mirrors. Like, don't look at this. Don't look behind the curtain. The Wizard of Oz kind of thing, right?
Right, exactly. But it does take two to tango. So we all have a part.
Yep.
And we can't heal anybody else but ourselves. So we have to. The only way we can work through things is, we can't ask other people to change. We can ask them how to change their treatment of us in a respectful way. And if they can't, I'm sorry, but that's not going to work for me. But it's really up to us to heal ourselves and do the work that we need to change ourselves in our life. And then the rest of it kind of just takes place.
Yes.
Without the work, it just happens.
When you're not running on autopilot, because it's like, I forget if I heard Wayne Dyer say, everybody needs a gardener and a garden, some kind of like, every teacher needs a student, every bully needs a victim, is how it's coming, So
Yeah.
If we begin to look at ourselves, like I have let go of a need to be bullied. So if I'm around bullying energy, I've noticed, again, doesn't matter what age limit, you could be around people in their 80s. It's not like just teenagers, it's like people that attempt to thwart. And if we don't work on ourselves and our self-worth enough to say, this isn't working for me, they don't have anything to stick to. So it's like you said, Dana, it definitely is our responsibility to not own or take on these energies that are thrown at us. And on a daily basis, all of us are walking through the world with all of these different energies thrown at us. And so let me go back to what you just wrote, but it's really a confirmation reminder that the more we built our house from a foundation of strength and not sand, the first person that's going to try to push us over is not going to be able to do that if we're strong and solid within ourselves. So let me just see what else I can give to you with what you just read, though, before we go here. I am getting information. The books are good, Dana, but something about these show you the reasons behind the behavior of abusive people, and some turn it into codependent victims, enablers. I feel like you're going to be channeling information for yourself that's outside of the authors of these books. You understand? There's still a certain textbook philosophy, like if 1 + 1 = 2, they attempt to make it a science. That makes sense. So if you get something out of these books, that's great. I feel like you're drawn to be able to heal this in yourself and others on some level, but I'm getting the guidance to remember that you are going to have very powerful information. Like the information I'm getting for you right now is not something I read in a book, right?
Right.
So that's powerful to have it complete. I had an understanding that, using our intuitive abilities is what I'm trying to say. Like our first session, I think I saw horses, and you said you had a horse in the backyard. I said something around the age of 8. I didn't read that in a textbook. You say I've developed my inner knowing enough that if I'm asking to help people, I get information from the Masters of Light or whoever I'm working with permission to help you, and I'm given information. So I'm here to tell you you have the same ability to be able to psychically, intuitively help people with information that you're not going to be able to find in a book, okay?
I completely agree.
Good. So that's exciting.
The books have helped me to see why it's happened and just gain awareness and to recognize it and how to respond, which is just great for what I call my toolbox,
Sure.
Because there are so many different people that you run into and need to help.
You're not imagining it. Right? There's a lot of books on the topic. You're like, there's something to this. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But so the first thing that came up for that, I think we'll revisit this next week because I think there's more on being seen and not heard, and how something is jumping out to me to help. Again, with whatever age group you decide to help, children, teens, college, and beyond, there's a whole segment of the population that has felt seen and not heard, and you connected very early on with this inner power that you had, or this knowingness that you had the ability to express something from within you that kept you very grounded and expressed. And so I feel like I almost see you doing workshops around creative writing. Have you thought about that?
I have.
Okay. Good. It's coming up for you. Because, and I'll get a title for you maybe next week, or come up with your own, but I get titles like that for people, some things. But it's funny, I was going to do a writing workshop, and the title that came to me was Your Voice is Calling. Do you like that?
I do.
It's kind of like the idea where, hey, so-and-so's on the phone is calling you. It's like your voice is calling. It wants to be heard. So there's some kind of avenue or door for you to walk through to. It's something else for you, Dana, is coming up. When the faith is the evidence of things unseen. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Okay. There's some kind of connection between that message and people that are seen and not heard. Hold on, there's something else here. Hold on. Seen and not heard. Hold on. Okay, that whole authentic part that we were talking about for most of the show, the people that are walking around with these personas, whether it's a bully or whatever kind of labels. It's almost like in high school, you had the druggies, you had the jocks, you had all these kind of personas. I'm getting for you some kind of workshop around, and I feel it really playful too. It's almost like people wearing their masks, or you're like, come with your mask on. So it's almost like playful. You understand?
Yeah.
And you help people take their mask off, and then it's like you have a journal there, book, and you're like, and you have a healing method that you're going to come up with to help people not just be seen with their mask, but actually heard from their authentic inner heart-centered self. Okay?
Yeah,
So
that sounds